Sorry for the mix-up. Yep, this should be the proper spot. This should be the proper live. Sorry about the confusion. I forgot to switch the settings from when I did the impromptu stream this week. So it started the other thing instead of this one thing. So we had to give Peko a bum bath, which is why I'm a bit late, because she always decides to make a mess right before I decided to live stream. But here I am. I'm ready. I got some hot chocolate. I'll be fine. I should bring in my hot chocolate though. Well, it's lukewarm chocolate now, but still good. Yeah, she's okay. She probably ate something that gave her a bit of a situation. Yeah, thanks Mug for making all this shadow. So yeah, we had to give her a bath because she made a mess. And we tried cleaning it with towels, but paper towels, but it was too much of a mess for paper towels. So yeah, she's fine. She's fine. I'm really glad I had my apron on because it's heavy canvas, and she would have clawed right through me if I had not worn this thing. So yeah, so whew. Alright. Yeah, I wanted to show the painting from last week that I took some time to finish. So this is it. This is the painting. I added some stars and colored in stuff like the moon and the cats, and I added some sparkly magic sparkles. I don't know if those will show on the camera, but there is some silver sparkles around here. So greetings, hi everyone. Hello Otto, Valerie, Laura, Heather, Emma, Ina, Malvina, Ivy, and everyone else. Peko is a really poopy cat. I always feel bad for her because she's just a cat. She doesn't know any better, and she's not like she can wipe herself with paper towels. I mean, the only way she knows how to wipe herself is on the floor. So yeah, I just hope she'll be fine, that it's not something like the start of something problematic. I just hope that she ate some kind of weird stuff off the floor. Like she eats all the you know, the leftovers from fabrics. Like she will eat dust and just stuff that's on the floor because she thinks it's silverfish. She really likes to eat silverfish, so whenever she sees something on the floor, she will go sniff it and it will stick to her nose, and then while trying to get rid of it, she will eat it. So yeah. Alright, so this is last week's finished painting. I added a bit of white gouache in it. Some things work less, but good experience overall. No, none of my cats are overweight. They are a really good weight for their size. I think they're about 9-10 pounds. So yeah, they're fine. It's just like I said, she will eat just about anything, and we really try. We don't change their food. We don't give them treats. They eat the same wet food and the same dry food all the time. And we try really hard not to give them like tiny bits of ham or fish or something. But yeah, it happens. Yep, paint. Let's stop talking about poop. Let's talk about paint. I drew 2 for today because they're not really complicated, and having 2 will allow me to switch from one to another if I need to. So I got this cute kitten pile with Roger stuck underneath them. I'm not so sure I'm looking for a word. The proportions, yeah, I'm not so sure the proportions are fine on this one, but I will adjust them when I do the second spin on this. And I got this one, which is another idea with the magic broom and poor little Roger having a hard time. The paints I'm using are the Kusakabe paints, which I really felt like using. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Yeah, these are the Kusakabe paints. They have colors that are really reminiscent of Holbein, but they also have like this really intense orange that has fluorescent dye in it. So it's not light fast, but it's really nice. So I got this one in extra, and the rest is the set that you saw me review. So yeah, yep. So I will start with the kitten pile, as it's the one that was on the preview thingy. Oh, and I forgot to I don't have any water. I'll be right back. All right. So yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, I guess. That's in order for today. I should have done something with green in it. At least a bit. This is the Hahnemuhle paper, the 140-pound one. I'm trying to get a good feel for this paper so I can review it with a sense of knowing what I'm talking about. So I'm just wetting a space in the back. Oh, speaking of getting clawed by a cat, I have this one here, this line, that is from Pecco again, because the other night she decided she wanted to be a little turd, so she jumped on top of the door. And it made a hell of a mess, and it made a hell of a lot of noise. And Mr. E had Scout sleeping on him, so he couldn't really displace her just to take care of Pecco. So I went to help her calm down, and I am not as tall as Mr. E, so she sort of clumsily came down and she clawed me on the way. This is good. Alright. I'm just gonna start from something that's on the palette already. Don't really need to clean this. It's gonna make for a fine base. It's kind of annoying because this elastic is right on top of the scratch. So, how are your pets? Yep, the third Tushy is a third. Yep, Peko is an all-round third cat. It's funny because that was the night before last that she was super annoying. And last night we were worried that she would be annoying again, and we're like, oh no, let's hope she won't be annoying. And she was super cute instead. She came to sleep with us, which is not something she does often. So she just came around and jumped on the bed and slept with us, and it was really cute. And I was like, ah, maybe you know you've been a turd and you're trying to to make amends or something. I really like these paints, the Kusakabe ones. I really wish I could afford a bigger set eventually. I need to save up my my Amazon my cute little Amazon's amount, and maybe in like 18 months I can afford the big set. That would be like epic, to be able to afford it after all this time. But they're fun paints. I really like them. They have like, I know there are colors mixed with white, so some people will be not exactly fond of that, but I really like that it has a lot of the colors I kind of like to use for stuff, and like this minty green and this other sort of minty green, and the lavender and the shell pink. These are the kind of colors that I really enjoy using for illustrations, so having them pre-made in the palette, and this coral one, oh, it's awesome. I kind of like having that pre-made, so I don't have to mix it every time. And I know these are colors that I would use a lot, so there. You can get them from Amazon, especially Amazon US. Amazon.com, that's where I got the small 18 color set. It wasn't really expensive, I think it was like $40, but I had saved up enough to be able to try them, and I really wanted to try them so I could find out if they are worth getting the set. There are like two different sets. One has sort of a green box, and the other has a white box with green text. So I got the white box with green text one because it's the one that has all these with white colors. I don't know if you remember what I said in my review, but I love that this set has like it has a split primary colors, like 2 yellows, these 2 reds, and these 2 blues, and like a couple of convenience colors like the green and the purple, a couple of earth tones with these 2 and this one, and then you have these color mixed with white that I'm very happy I have, so good set for me. This one I got through Rakuten, and it was a bit difficult to obtain, but I wanted it for another palette setup that I haven't yet set up. So yeah, that's for the future. Well, it's the poopy cat. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Her bum is still all wet. Yes. Mm. Mm. Laura's saying that she has rabbits, and one of them jumped on the bed the other day, peed on it, and tried to eat the flower print on the sheets. That's really cute. Well, the eating the sheet part, not the peeing part. Alright, so that's all wet. I'm just gonna find some place for it. Question, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rank the White Nights watercolors? I need to use them more. Perhaps I should pick them up for the next painting. But I haven't used them a lot, so it's hard to say. From what I've used, I really like them. I'm maybe not super completely behind the color choice in the 24 what was the box I got? The St. Petersburg 24 color set. But yeah, I like the colors. I just am not convinced by the color selection in the box. Like, it has no magenta. It's very like reds, orange, yellows, green, blues, and earth tones. So yeah. They are really good paints. They have really some interesting colors, like the Russian green, which is really pretty. And they are really easy to reactivate, and they deliver a good payoff. They are super affordable as well. It might be a bit more difficult to find them depending on where you live. I would give them a solid 7 out of 10, maybe 8. I don't really understand why there is not a bigger effort made to bring in these really awesome brands from other countries that offer something really different. Like, if I go to the art store, the only pans I can get are in sets, and they are Cotman, possibly. I am not sure if they have sets of professional Winsor & Newton, but yeah, it's either that or the student Sennelier. And I'm like, well, okay, sure, these are okay, but why isn't there someone like bringing in White Nights or the Renaissance paints? Like, the Renaissance paints were really good, and they are really inexpensive, and I mean, they could easily sell them at a good markup here and still have something that is affordable and decent. So I'm like, what are you waiting for? There is money to be made. Bring this stuff in. Come on. No, it's not alcohol. It's a hot chocolate. I'm not really good with alcohol. I will try to not end up with a paint and hot chocolate. Well, a paint and chocolate drink. Oh, the chat is talking about poop, fitty, and paint at the same time. It's a bit of a weird mashup. Dan says that he dipped his brush in his fizzy drink before, and all it did was ruin the drink. Yep. Oh, hey Jacqueline, welcome. Hi Sam and Temple. And Marlis. Alright, gotta keep on doing this. I kinda wanna use some of that super bright orange. It's kind of fresh because I've put it in the palette just earlier today. But it's so bright. Bye, Pico. Bye-bye. Oh, hello Cyan and Maria, and Maya Lu, and well, eu costumava ser ninguém. Hey, whew. You don't make it easy on us. Yes, the paints are kusakabe. The set technically has a black and a white paint, but I've not put them in the palette because I don't really use them. Heather is suggesting to do some sort of twinkle scene where she's witnessing or doing the booty scoot boogie. Oh, I might have to do that, especially since we've established there are kittens in this setting. So I might have to do the booty scoot boogie. Oh, it's like so a disaster and so funny every time. Question: how to not hate phthalo green and blue? Use them in mixes. You mix them with anything, any other color, even together they will make a nice color. But you mix them with anything else, and you never use them straight from the palette. I'm still using the Escoda Ultimo brushes. I still love them. Inspired by Peko. If I do the booty scoot boogie, it will be a little orange cat doing it. Pay homage to Peko, our own little master of the boogie. Alright, this is a bit of a mess, but yep. Otto is asking me if I got the Washai 18 color set. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Hold on. I got this. Yeah, the one with the big bean like sticker on it. And it's a really nice set. So yeah, but I can't tell if it's the Washai one. Opinions on PV3 pigment. That's the purple from White Nights, right? It's a really nice color. It's really deep. It's supposed to have a bit of light fastness issues if you look at the pigment itself. But people who have used the paints have been telling me that they don't have any issues with light fastness. And they've been using the paints for a while and they don't really see much. That's a bit wet still. Okay, so apparently the Kusakabe set I got was the Washai one, as it's based on the Japanese colors. Sorry. This orange is not in the set, but it's the same kind of packaging. It's in a bigger set, it's not in the small one I got, but it's called Passion Orange, and it has PY1 67, 87, hard to say, and BV10, which is the dye, which is why it is so bright. Oh, it's very cool. The orange red is to mimic the bright red orange lacquerware. It's really cool. I wish there were more sets like this. PV3, I don't think it's rhodamine, because rhodamine is a dye. And PV3 is a pigment. But yeah, I like these sets because they bring something really different. And once you start having more than one set of paints, it's really interesting when they can bring something different to the color lineup, because otherwise you end up with multiples of the same. So yeah, like that's why I'm sort of aiming to get the bigger set of these paints, because I find it really interesting to see all the different stuff in it. Otto is saying that they have Japanese color names for each of the colors in this set, and I cannot read kanji, so I will not try. But yeah, I think it's written on the tube, right? Well, this one is yeah, this one is probably passion orange, but in katakana, because passion orange is a borrowed word. Right, this is not a this is not a chat about languages, though I wish it was. Did you guys, I think I've mentioned it before, but the Kitten Academy on YouTube, like how they have this cute little well, at the moment they have 2 cat families, but they had only Pumice and her babies until recently, and they are the most adorable little things. And now there is a new cat that's called Frolic, and she's a mama cat, and she has 5 little beans as well. And she's a black mama cat, and she has 3 black babies and 2 tabbies, I think. And they're really cute. It's kind of easy to pronounce Japanese when you speak French, because it's very similar. Like you, if I look at Romanji, I just have to pronounce it in French mostly, and everything but the R is fairly the same. So that's my cheat sheet. That's how I manage to speak. I try. I don't want to butcher languages, but yeah. So yeah, more cat stuff. Mama Pumice. She's such a kitten herself. She's been playing with her babies, and it's so fun to watch. Like, she will pounce them and she will run after them, and it's just like mayhem in that room. It's really fun to watch. And if you don't want to watch the live streams on YouTube, if you check the Twitter accounts, a lot of people, they make GIFs of the fun moments with the baby cats, and it's really fun to watch. I will check out the chat in a moment. Oh. Okay, so yeah, yep. French is very similar in the way it sounds to Japanese, and the only difference I can think of like that is that we don't necessarily have syllables for everything. Like, the only letter that you can use solo in Japanese is N and the vowels. But like everything else is like a combination of consonant and a vowel. Well, we don't really have that. Like, you can have more of a mashup, but if you take a syllable in French, it's often like a syllable in Japanese. Okay, Sam is challenging me to say triphenylmethane phosphotungsto molybdic acid salt. Oh, that's really interesting. Otto is saying that they feel like the only language the Japanese pronunciation translates to is Hawaiian, because it is totally katakana sounds. Well, I'm really not good in history, so I hope I won't say something stupid, but there is like a cultural connection with Japan and Hawaii, right? They didn't really make us study anything but European and Canadian stuff in history long ago, so yeah. Val is reminding us that if I forget to turn the live replay off, this lovely cat poop conversation will be around forever. Something to think about. This is a great burnt sienna. It re-wets so easily. That's Pecco in the background. See, I did the thing again where I didn't wait for... like I should have painted another cat before painting this one. Because it's connected to the one I painted before, so that wasn't really dry. And it sort of transferred into the other kitty. Oh no, bye Dan. Thanks for being there. And hello Lee. Welcome, welcome. I'm still not good with the cotton paper. Zoom into the painting. Oh yeah, sure. I'll see what I can do. Hold on. Let's try this first. Yeah. That should be a bit better, right? So the image is not a super awesome quality, but that's because my webcam is not the best. Mind you, my regular camera is not the best either because it's my phone, but it does a really fine job. And this webcam is a bit trickier to get a good picture out of. It's always a bit blurry, I find. Okay, let's try not to make a mess of this. And it's already a mess because I have sort of painted inside the eyes. Might have to use gouache just to fix that. Oh, whoa! Sam says that he has Saint Cuthbert's mill. Saint Cuthbert's mill. What a name! For samples, and they sent 48 sheets of paper. Whoa! All different. Are they full-size sheets? And they are, whoa, 48 sheets. About the A5 size. Wow, that's good. That's really nice of them. Really awesome. I like it when companies are not stingy too much. Like, I don't expect anything from them. That would be silly of me to expect things from the company, but some of them, they really go out of their way to be super nice, and I'm always amazed when I see them being so generous. Oh, I love this color. It's so shiny. It's so neon. Yeah, it's basically neon orange. It feels like the color you would see in a sunset. Like, to really represent how warm the color is, it feels like a color I would use for that. Wow, that's really nice, Sam, that they sent you all these sheets. The cats are being a bit annoying. I forgot to paint the ears, but if I do them now, it's gonna spill into the orange thingy I just painted. Ah! So much planning to do. This is really uneven. I'm gonna have to fix that after. Okay, so Sam says that they have 4 different weights and 3 different textures, white and high white, and they sent 2 samples of the 2 colors. Is Saunders Waterford owned by Holbein? Is there a connection here? Because I often see, like when I look for paper on weird places, I often see the Holbein paper as being this Saunders Waterford one, I think. Am I mixing it up? Or is it Buckingford? Oh no. Apparently it's complicated to move with the bunny because they are not seen as a pet but as livestock. Oh no. It's not livestock, it's a pet bunny. And it's one bunny, I mean, and it's small. I can understand if you're wanting to travel with your pet cow, because a cow is sort of big, but a bunny? The only travel I ever did with cats was on the road. Like when my parents drove 2 hours from one place to another to settle down when I was younger. That's the only time we had to travel with a pet. Yeah, I know, but if you look, well, Sam is saying that St. Cuthbert's, I can't say this in English, Cuthbert's mill make Waterford, Buckingford and Milford. Yeah, they are far away from Holbein, yeah, sure, but I wonder if Holbein is not sort of collaborating with them to bring in paper. Maybe Otto knows. Like, I was looking at the Holbein watercolor paper on Amazon Japan. They have some unique papers like the Watson paper. I think it's made by Muse. And Muse, M-U-S-E. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Val, that Holbein is getting their paper from another mill and they just add their logo on it, like they endorse the product from another paper mill. I mean, you need a lot of trees to make paper. Well, this is cotton. Yeah. Do they do wood pulp papers? Probably, but yeah. I don't have access to these brands here. It's mostly Fabriano and Arches. I'm a bit tired maybe today, so I apologize if this is not as fun as the other times. But yeah, I'm trying to cheer up. This is basically the, you know, the moment in the day where things get a bit nappy. I try not to nap because napping ruins the bedtime hour, but there's this like moment in the afternoon that's a bit more low energy there. Not as fun. I don't know, was I there for all the poopy cat conversation? I mean, I brought up some poopy cat stories, but yeah. It's just, or maybe I'm just a bit pooped, haha, because of the ordeal of washing Pico's bum. It's a bit draining to try to help your pets and you cannot explain to them that you're just trying to help them, and they really don't appreciate it, with reason. But yeah, to try to hold down a cat that just doesn't want to be held and is like howling for sweet mercy, it's I find it rough. So the Buckingford paper is wood-free, bleach. How can it be wood-free? It's wood-free bleach, the wood-free bleached chemical pulp. Hey, hello Kathy. Lee is saying that companies have their ways. Some time ago they ordered a koi set and got one labeled Talents. I think that Talents is responsible for importing or dealing with the Sakura koi colors. Because if you go to Talents website, you will see it at the bottom, they have the Sakura logo as well. I'm gonna need some water, just be right back. Water break. I have a colleague. The stream cat today is Scout. Okay, so Otto is saying regarding the Holbein watercolor paper, they're saying that they're looking at the watercolor paper catalog for the Japanese market, and that they actually have many different brands, including White Ibis Avalon, Waterford, Strathmore, Clester, Albireo, and Mermaid. Wood-free paper, what is that made of? Yeah, being a cat mom is not to be confused with a mom cat, but being a cat mom is sometimes really difficult. Like anything that involves going to the vet is it's never easy, and there is something so difficult with the fact that you can't explain to them what's going on. I mean, I'm pretty sure that some kids, even if you explain to them, they're just too young or too much in distress to understand, but yeah, it's fine. I think she's mostly forgotten what happened. So yeah, that's Pickle. The good thing with her is that she doesn't hold grudges. She has a good memory for all the things to explore and all the places to go and all the toys she like, but she doesn't remember stuff like the thermometer at the vet or us having to clean her butt. Okay, let me catch up with the chat. Favorite single pigment green. That's kind of difficult. I really like the Russian green, the PG8, even if it's supposedly not very light fast. It's the perfect color. Yeah, cat hairs in a painting is sort of a common thing now. Like if I don't have one at some point when I paint something, that means something's up. There has to be a problem somewhere if I don't end up with some kind of cat fur in my painting. Everyone is sharing stories about pets not enjoying vet visits. Find me a pet that enjoy a vet visits, though. I don't think that exists. I didn't know you had to have a bunny's nails trimmed at the vet. Is it possible to trim it using the same kind of tools you can trim a cat's claws? Heather is sharing a story about her cat Mayo, who used to be a handful at the vet, biting and making a mess. Funny thing is, my cats, they don't really enjoy the vet. Pico, if the vet is not there, she will try exploring the room, because that's her modus operandi. Pico is an explorer. But Scout, she knows where she's at, she knows what's going on, and she doesn't like it at all. So yeah, she just sheds, and she will get really angry and really loud, but she doesn't get aggressive, she doesn't bite. She's not aggressive, she's just not happy. So it's kind of funny to see her so mad, but still not all out claws and all that. For a cat that's so temperamental, that's really funny to see. Oh, well, Lana's dogs love the vet because he gets really good treats there. Yeah, that's a good way to sort of bring them to your side. Free treats. They try to give treats to my cats when we go there, but they don't. Just nope. Oh, hi Denise. And Tsukabu no Soratori too. Hello, hello. I will try to bring this kitten's color to a more uniform state. Hopefully I will not mess everything again. It's kind of difficult to get used to how to manage water in a painting, and like when you use good paper and good brushes, it's kind of harder when you've been using like just regular stuff, which is why I know that it's mostly a question of budget, but if you can, as soon as you start getting into painting, use the best stuff you can afford. Because that way you don't have to learn how to use it every single time you upgrade. If you start using the best stuff, sure, it's gonna be frustrating at first because you will maybe like ruin some sheets of paper or use the paint, paint is made to be used, let's be frank. But yeah, you will maybe be dissatisfied with what you're doing, but at least you won't have to relearn to paint all over again. And the paper that you will lose from being a beginner, you will lose it anyway from upgrading. So it's not really a loss. It's gonna happen regardless. Oh no, poor Cricket. Yeah, my cats, they don't make a mess of the crate, which I'm really thankful for. The only time that happened a bit is because Scout had some issues with her whole digestive tract. So it was like there first, and it was there in the crate, and it was there at the vet. So not by the stress, but yeah, they will shed a lot, and one of them will hyperventilate, and the other will stay hidden at the bottom, at the far end of the crate, and will growl. And they don't like the car. So yeah, I think my cats are too stressed to take treats there. They just want to be gone. Oh, Jacqueline is saying that their pet is so afraid that he just sits there frozen and let the vet do whatever he wants to. Well, that's a good way to to sort of go about it. Malvina is saying that she can't use too expensive stuff because it makes her nervous and too afraid of making a mark. Yeah, well, if you plan on always using this kind of paper, I mean, sure, get used to it. Get used to that paper. I should have done that. But The thing is that if you plan on, if your reasoning for not buying the quality paper is that you are not good enough and you know you want to upgrade at some point when you will feel better about it, that's might not be the best way to go about it, because that way you will get used to whatever paper you're using, and when you will upgrade as a way of acknowledging that you have reached a certain point that you wanted to reach, you're gonna have to deal with many issues with the paper because it's not like what you're used to. If you plan on, if your logic when you look at the fancy paper is going like, I can't buy this yet, I want to buy it someday but not yet, that might not be the best way to go about it. If you want to use it in the end, start using it now. If you really don't want to upgrade paper, if you feel comfortable with whatever paper you're using and it works for you, you can do that as well. The difficulty is in having to learn how to work with a completely new paper, a completely different thing. I'm kind of glad that I don't keep the chats for this one. Not because I'm squeamish or that I find it improper, but it's still gonna be a whole chat about pet misadventures. Oh, Tsukabo, you have a 1-year-old kitten? That's the crazy age. The crazy age is from 8 weeks to 2 years. They are mostly unstoppable. Oh. Wow, Heather has some pretty epic stories about cats and vets. Hey, Caria, hi. Okay, let's keep on with this. Ouais, propre. Ouais. What is that about, Sam? Sam is saying that methyl violet 2B is harmful to living cells and organisms, so it is diluted in medical and biological applications as a topical fungicide or disinfectant. What? What are you talking about? Is that paint? Methyl violet. I think that a lot of the warnings regarding paints have to be taken with a great deal of common sense. Like, unless you have a sensibility, and unless you eat, like breathe or handle pigments, eat paint, drink the paint water, and even then. But yeah, it's a bit like, you know, like this thing that some people are more susceptible to some diseases because they are older, or they are babies, or they have a deficient immunity. I think some warnings on paints, like if you don't have any issues, it's perfectly fine. Just, you know, don't let kids use it, and don't leave it there for pets to step in. But that sums it up. I am not really worried. I hardly ever let paint here, and when I do, this is not a table that the cats usually jump on. Yeah, Carrie, that's a bit what I was saying. Like, if you really enjoy the Strathmore mixed media cotton paper and you don't really plan on moving to the rest, well, that's fine. Just you know, work with what you like and get used to it. And it's like getting to know the paper. I'm trying to get used to good cotton paper, because that's kind of what I consider to be the best surface if I want to sell originals. But it's sort of difficult because most of my sketchbooks are made with wood pulp or a very different type of paper, so I have to really get used to this and understand how it works with these brushes that I really like, because they handle water in a different way as well. So gotta learn all this stuff. If Cinnamon Cooney says don't eat paint ever, she's really right about that. I'm just catching up on chat. So that methyl violet is PV3. Well, Sam, if you don't eat it, it's fine. And yeah, that's just looking at the chat. I agree that it's kind of difficult to buy the small tubes of paint because the value is really not as good as the bigger ones. If I just use an easy example for me, it's Holbein, which is one of the few brands locally that I can have small tubes and bigger tubes. And the small tube is like $5 and the bigger one is 10. But the bigger one is 3 times the amount of paint, so it's a no-brainer. It's clearly a better deal. But if you want to try a lot of colors, well, it kind of makes for a huge bill if you get all big tubes, and if you are not sure you will use a color enough to justify having the big tube, it's kind of great to be able to try the small one first. But there's a few Holbein colors that I know I like, that I've bought the big tube because I know I like this color and I will keep on using it. Carrie is saying that she's working on a video on how to make an archer's pad for $3.49. That's nice. That's a good price. I just buy the pads, the 9x12 pads, when they are about 20 bucks. I have a good amount of paper. I have a good stash of paper that I bought on many occasions, often on sale, but I've only recently started using it. I was a bit like I was not doing any finished illustration, so I was telling myself that I did not really need to take out the finished illustration paper for that. And now that I'm doing the AC and these live streams, well, I'm doing a lot more finished illustration, or well, these are sort of finished because they're like the first draft or paintings that I will repaint at some point, because I am not necessarily pleased with these, but still I want to do these on the good paper, because that way I know what to expect when I will do them on the good paper for real, for the second time. I'm really gonna have to fix that eye. It looks so wonky right now. Val is saying that she has almost 100 tubes of Daniel Smith. She really likes them. Oh, I missed a bit of the chat. Oh! Otto is saying that Holbein has a 90 milliliters tube. That's the big tube. Okay, that's on my bucket list. I need to get a 90 milliliter tube at some point in my life. That's like ludicrous. That's oh, that's the best. Is it bigger than my big gouache tube? Oh, it's almost twice the size of this one. Wow. That's really cool. That's paints for many lifetimes. Oh wow. If you can hear, that is Peko. Yeah. Your butt is all clean now. Your butt is all clean. Hey, baby. It might be cheaper to get the sheets and turn them into pads, but that's a lot of work. And I kind of like that the pads are a reliable constant that I don't have to bother with. Like, they are always the same size. They cannot be crooked. They cannot, well, if they are, I can call them and say, hey, this pad I got was crooked, get me a new one. And they should have some kind of quality service there. And I don't have to deal with a specific setup and gluing it myself and finding a place for it to dry. And it would be so full of cat hair. Like, it's not even imaginable that it would not be full of cat hairs. So yeah, I'm all for DIY, but I'm also all for convenience, because I value time a lot, and sometimes instead of doing something myself, I will prefer to just spend the money on it, because in my opinion that money is not wasted. One thing I like to do myself a lot is inserts for journals, or like smaller sketchbooks from bigger ones, or from pads of paper that are a specific color. But yeah, that's not all the time. Okay, just catching up on chat. Oh, Otto, you will send me a 90 milliliter tube. Ah, yes, we need to work on the details of that. Winsor & Newton has a giant pan of paint. Yeah, their giant pan is really big. I like that it comes in a ceramic, like a small ceramic plate. I kind of dream of having the plate without the paints, just so I can use the plate for stuff, for painting. But that's kind of a fun, if you know you're going to use the color a lot, that's a really good way to be good for a long while. Kathy is saying that she got a palette the other day and filled it with the Mission Gold set she got over a year or so ago and was disappointed. How come? Yes, my little Peko likes to do all kinds of weird noises. Yes, Otto, I want to see the comparison of the 15 milliliter and 90 milliliter tube. That's like, wow, even I'm trying to think what product I've seen that comes in that volume. I think even the hand cream I get doesn't even go that big. Oh, that's so cool. Carrie, I think that there was a video about someone comparing the big pan to the smaller pans, and there is like what, a good like 8 half pans, so what, 4 full pans of paint in the big one. Okay, Kathy's saying that the Mission Gold paints, they were in tubes, and when she squeezed them into the palette, they were either really hard or had separated. That's a real bummer. I don't have a lot of but I have some Mission Gold paints, but they are not in tubes, so I can't really say. But have you tried stirring them a bit with like a toothpick? Because I have other paints that will separate, and I can usually just either I pour the blob in the palette and I stir it, or I stir it separately. Sorry, I stir it in the tube with a toothpick. Yep, there's a sale going on Jackson's Art on watercolor stuff. From what I've seen, the deals start at 10% off, and I think it goes a bit higher than that, but they're not super clear with what's the discount on stuff, but it's at least 10%. So yeah, if you had purchases planned anyway, now's a good time to do them because you're gonna save up money. Oh, Otto's saying that it's 60 milliliter. Okay, so it's about this big. It's still like an insane amount of watercolor. That's like this is gouache, so this, I can imagine going through this at some point, because gouache, you use it more opaque and you use more of it, but watercolor, wow. Yeah, well, the thing is with acrylics and oil paints is that you use up more of the paint in one painting because you use the stuff. With watercolor, you don't really use up the stuff. You use the mix you do of the paint and water mostly. So unless you paint really big things, or unless you layer the colors really intensely, you don't use up that many watercolor in one painting. So that's why the tubes are generally smaller. Like, they are generally around 15 milliliters for the big ones and 5 for the small one. So having a tube of watercolor that is 60 milliliter, that's like insane. That's for someone who has either like a very obvious favorite color, or who plans on painting something really big with a lot of strong color in it. Acrylics and oil and gouache, they're different. I'm gonna have to check the pics when I'm done with the live stream, but I'm super excited to see the really big tube of Holbein. You can stir it while it's still in the tube. You just insert a toothpick. If a toothpick is not big enough, you can use something like a skewer for what's the word in English? You know, when you skewer meat on a stick and you grill it. or you can use anything that's long. I have one that I like to use, but I gotta be careful because it's super sharp. But it's a thing for sculpture. Oh, I don't think I have it here, but it's a long metal spike. And I often use that carefully because it will go through the metal of a tube, but I can carefully stir up things with that. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. Oh, yeah, Daniel Smith Queen Rose in 60 milliliters tube. That would be just for you, Otto. Like it would have your name written on it somewhere. Like, hey, that's for you. You can use up all of this lovely color. And it's a lot of fun to press like the bigger tubes. There's a huge payoff on pressing like big paint tubes. I really like the moment of squeezing the tube. Yep, that's a good tip. Otto is saying that they swatched 170 colors today and they've got only 100 more to go. And the great tip is that, yeah, when you start having a decent size collection, not even a big one, just decent, start swatching right away. If you want, well, at some point you're gonna want to keep like a record of the paints you have and be able to compare colors and do all that. So it's a really good idea to start swatching ASAP. Like, I often don't keep up with the colors I get, and it always bites me in the butt. Because I get to a point where my swatch book is not up to date, and it's really difficult to try to reference a color or a pigment when the collection is not up to date. Alright, so I know I have, oh yeah, white gouache somewhere. I'm gonna pre-wet it so it mellows a bit. This is the Shinhan Pass. I keep like 3 white paints next to me. I have the Chinese painting white. I don't remember if that's one of the stinky ones. No, it's just, it smells a bit chemical, but it's not the worst. Like, one of them smells like butt. Not the whites, but the Chinese paints I got. I have the titanium white gouache by M. Graham and the white by Shinhan Pass. And they're always around my work table in case I quickly need to fix something or I need white for a painting. And I'm also going to switch brush for this. I'm going to use a Reserva for I'm going to try to paint the eyes back in. This is the plan. But while the white softens, I will work on this one. I'm catching up with the chat. I'm a bit puzzled as to what color to paint these 2 kittens. I think one is going to be gray. Yeah.
Hey! Hey, Scotty!
This is a really great palette, by the way. I haven't been using it a lot, but I mean, it doesn't take a lot of use to see that this one is sort of a no-brainer. Doesn't bead, has a lot of room, 18 colors is a really nice number, and it's a really nice size for the palette. It has a rubber, silicone seal around the top lid, and yeah, it's really nice. And I like that you can like pop this up to wash it, the cover part. It's a bit bulky maybe, but there's not, like, it's really not big. Please remove excess water after using. Do store a palette in an upright position in the direction of the arrow when you put a palette in your bag. Okay. Oh, Maria, you're getting EM paints. That is so cool. Ami's paints are really nice. Lee is saying that she has to still watch. She still has to watch. Still has to swatch her watercolors that Denise and Eve me way. So she can finally understand what she has. It's really practical, but it's practical because I think Denise and I, we kind of have a lot of paints and we need to be able to quickly refer to them for work because this is our work. So like when someone asks me, is there a color that could work for this other color? Well, I can easily go to my swatch book and check out and compare and quickly find like, oh, this one could fit. What is this one? It's this brand, this color, this pigment. There you go. So it's really super helpful. Hey, hi Hannah. Anna's saying that she's waiting for my video about my favorite palettes or about my watercolor collection. Yikes! I still not sure that I want to do that video eventually because yeah, I need to think about it. Some people can be a bit judgmental maybe regarding this stuff, and I am not sure I want to have to, you know, remind people that I'm an adult, this is okay, I know what I'm doing, blah blah blah. As for my favorite palette, I don't think I have one yet anyway. I know that I kind of prefer having paints in that kind of setting rather than in half pans, just because it's easier to get some paint out. And whenever I use half pan, I often have to use like a flower palette like this to prepare my colors, because it's more difficult to do it in the pans. This is kind of easier because I can, like the slanted wells, I can grab everything, and the mixing space is combined with the paint, so I don't have to take out a huge amount of items to be able to paint. But as far as a favorite palette like this, I don't have one yet. Would you recommend Sennelier? Sure. They are great paints. They are even better if you can get them in tube and pour the tubes in a palette, because they will re-wet so much easier. But if you get a pan set, it works really well as well. You just have to like add a bit of water to your pans and wait a bit for the paint to soften, and then you will get super nice, strong, vibrant colors. If you try to work your brush in a paint that hasn't had time to mellow, it's not as satisfying because the color is less strong and you ruin your brush faster. Malvina is saying that she would like to see my collection in palettes. It is fun to watch such video. I enjoy it too, but yeah, I might have to be a bit more present in the way I allow some comments and remove some others. But I don't want to censor anyone. I just, if I decide to make this video, it is with the condition that I don't want to get any flack for having quite a few palettes and quite a few paints. And I don't have a lot with the idea of being boasty about it. That's not at all the point. It's just that, yep, I have a lot because I like it and I try to use it as much as I can, and it's a tool, and it's not something that I buy for the sake of having a collection. I buy because I want to use the stuff. So having someone who chimes in and goes like, well, you have a lot of palette, that must have run you a lot of money. Like, well, yeah, probably, but that's not for you to really, that doesn't really concern you. That's not for you to pass judgment on. None of your business. What? So that's the only thing that I'm sort of hesitant about making a video about my collection and my palettes. Also, it's always growing in a way, so yeah. Oh, hello Noam. Welcome and thank you. Yes, Otto is saying that they will beat anyone that gives me any flack. And thanks for understanding that it's really not about bragging. It's not about, you know, just owning stuff for owning stuff. It's being inspired by these tools and wanting to use them. And you will not really see me get paints that I don't plan on using. So that's really not the approach. Like, it's not the collection like some people will collect, say, action figures, and they will leave them mint in box because that's where the value is for them. But the value in paints for me is through using them and using the paper and using the brush and using the stuff you have, because that's where the magic happens. The magic is not in a paint tube, it's on the paper when you use the paint, when you see the color and you use it and you feel inspired by it and it has a story because you know you use this paint for this painting. That's where it's interesting. Not just owning the tube and having it stored somewhere and not using it. That's not fun. Carrie is saying that she has to block people all the time. Oh yeah, well yeah, that's kind of that's the not fun part of YouTube. Like, we are lucky to have a great community, but every once in a while there is someone that shows up that reminds you that the rest of the people out there are not as nice, and it's always a bit of a bummer. But then again, I am glad we can block people. Like, if you are not happy, like if I get any kind of Pico is wanting some loving. Hello baby, hello baby, do you want to say hi? Nope, bye-bye. She ran away. But yeah, if I ever get people that leave rude comments, I will either, if they could have a point, I will ask them about it, and if they're just rude, I will remove them. This is not the place for this. Like, someone, I think at some point, was saying that they didn't like my voice, and I asked them, like, well, it was vague, so I asked them, is it my voice that they don't like? And they never answered. So I'm like, nah. You don't like it, you can always go watch somebody else who does the stuff you like, you know? It's not like there's only 1 or 2 people doing this. Yep, a no flag zone. I think if I ever make a palette or collection video, there will be a tiny disclaimer in front saying that it's a no flag zone, that if you flag, you get blocked. Otto will make a don't flag on Eve barricade. Thank you so much. Yeah. I don't think the issue, the wrong with a lot of quotes, thing about having a lot of paints is not in the eyes of the person who has a lot of paint most of the time. It's whenever other people, they come in and they might not understand like what this is about, and they see like the paints, they see that a set retails for average this and that price, and they sort of panic. But I mean, everyone has like things that they are willing to spend more money on than the rest. And that's just a matter of taste. Like, someone who comes to me and complains that I have a lot of paints, but they have the most recent iPhone, well, it's, you know, you can get a lot of paint for the price of a recent iPhone. I don't have a recent iPhone. So it's just a matter of preference and priorities, and I don't know, it's not... Oh, thank you guys for having my back. That really means a lot. I'm really in this for the fun of the community and not for being judgmental or the negativity. So yeah, I really appreciate that you guys are on the same ground as me. That's really nice. I have a mostly no tolerance policy for like pointless negativity or just being mean in the comments on my channel. This is really not the place for this. So I will be prepared to just shut down things that are mean, but yeah, I will think about it. It's been suggested a lot, so I understand that it's interesting and that it's a good way to learn about more paints or see what other painters use, and that can give you ideas and inspire you, or maybe sort of give you a different spin on something you see at the store every day but you've never tried. But yeah, that's the only reason why I'm really hesitant is the negativity and the flack. So yeah. That's Peko. Hello, baby. Merci, Christiane. That's a very French Canadian expression. Hold on. Right. I have a guest. I had to run after her and grab her because she's being a bit of a butt. Say hi. Hi. That's Peko. That's Poopy Butt Peko. Nope. You don't want to show your face on the camera, baby? Bleh. Kitten, kitten, kitten. There. Whoa, Heather, that's kind of really horrible. Whoa. Heather is sharing some really terrifying story that happened to her sister. And it's really the kind of thing that makes you wonder, that makes you ask a lot of questions about the humans. Yep. Yep, Lana is right. She's saying that that's something that people do not understand, that everyone spends their money differently. If you enjoy paint, buy paint. If you enjoy clothes, buy clothes. Or whatever else you enjoy. Thank you, Temple. Temple is saying that life is too short for the rest of that nonsense, and I agree. Merci, Christiane. Oh, Cheryl, that's really nice. Cheryl is saying that she just bought the Billy Shower set at Jackson's. That is such a pretty set. I am not really a botanical artist, but that kind of bums me out that I am not, because this set is just so dreamy. I've added 2 colors to it because it's a personal matter, but I think I added like Opera Rose and Cobalt Turquoise just because they are 2 of my favorite colors and I really enjoy them in sets. So I've added them, but oh wow, the Billy Shallow set is really pretty and a lot of fun to use. It has so many nice colors and so many good mixes from these colors. Like you get nice yellows and 1 orange and lots of red and pinks and super nice diaxos in purple. And then you get like very useful blues. And I think this is the set that has the one useful ultramarine, like the deep one instead of the French one. But it's really nice. I hope you will like it. Tsukabo is saying that all that negativity is why we have cats. Being able to, being a situation where you can get a pet kind of shows that, yeah, that's like showing that you can care for someone else than yourself. And most people with big issues in this world, they often have problem with that. They often are able to empathize and understand that everyone is different and that every situation is different and we're not all the same. And if you can relate with your fellow human, well, that's a win for everyone, really. Yeah, we don't have a car either. I mean, it's, yeah. Blah. Oh. Carria, you really had the worst people comment on your channel. That's so sad. I'm glad that it's either better or you've blocked all these not very nice people, so things are quieter now, but seriously, people need to understand that if something doesn't apply to them, they can just walk off and do something else. They don't get final say in everything that does not necessarily relate to them. I'm sort of winging it with the tabby patterns. I hope it's not like too whatever, but it's kind of difficult to stream and pull reference at the same time. Besides, baby kittens, their patterns, they often change when they grow up, so I'm gonna use that argument. Otto, oh yes, if you need Otto, if you need more info about the Billy Shower set, just write to me and I will send you like more info. It's a really nice set. Temple is saying that every set needs Opera Rose and Cobalt Turquoise. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Maybe two colors that you don't really find useful on their own, but in mixes, I mean, Opera Rose makes for the most amazing oranges ever, and it adds so much life to reds and purples. Pico is singing her cat song in the other room. She just goes moo, 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 until someone pets her. Oops, I might have missed a bit of the chat. Sorry if I missed some of the chat. I like the cat talk. Cats, 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 cats. Oh, I know, next time I should really wear my cats socks. Because I was given a pair of cat socks that is just like cat silhouettes with the word cats written all over them. And never have socks before summed up my life so well. I love cats. This has been going on for quite some time. I will probably have to go soon. Let me check something up with Mr. E while you look at these baby cats.
Je pense que oui. Oui. Tout de suite.
Pas tout à fait en café. J'ai encore plein de pain, ça va bien. Je vais checker l'heure, puis ça va, c'est bon, le 19 à ça.
5h30, ça avait l'air d'être. Ouais, tout le monde est venu.
Bon, ouais, bon, ouais. Ok, cool. Merci. And back. Tsukabo is saying that they love these colors, probably opera and turquoise. Opera for sunsets and things, and sunrises as well. Welcome back, Dan. Carria, you almost never use opera rose or turquoise. Why? I'll try them just for fun when you have your paints out and you don't really know what to do with them. But just try making mixes with them, like the obvious stuff, like you mix the pink with the yellow to see the kind of oranges you can get, and that kind of like, it doesn't have to be some super color theory intense stuff, just fun stuff. And it can really give you ideas on how to use these colors, because they make for really unique things with other colors, like the cobalt turquoise from Sennelier and their Caput Mortuum makes a super nice gray that is light, but that granulates in a really nice way, and it's super interesting, and the color itself is so inspiring that it makes you want to find things to paint with it. And that can happen with a lot of colors and a lot of things, so that's kind of why I like having these colors on my palette, because they're like the happy surprise colors that if you have something that you paint and you find it lacks a bit of oomph, well, I can always try to mix these colors in and see what happens, because one will granulate nicely and the other will add so much vibrancy. Yeah, Opera Rose is not light fast, but I don't really care. I would perhaps not use it in something that I know is gonna be that I know is gonna be on a wall somewhere, or if, like, I would use it anyway, and I would add a small warning that there's a chance the color will change if you put this painting on the wall exposed to sunlight. But if you Mr. E is laughing his ass off in the other room. Sorry. Yeah, Opera Rose, yeah, I would prefer to use it and have a caption saying that just a word of warning, this painting uses a color that might change if you put this painting in full sunlight, so please be careful about that, because I haven't seen any professional paint that fades really fast, so it doesn't really bother me. Oh, Otto, if you love Sennelier's Caput Mortuum, you have to try it with the turquoise, if you have that one. Or any cobalt turquoise you might still have, because it really makes for something super nice. Noam is saying that they don't use turquoise or opera very often, they're too bright for their style, and that they like more muted colors. If you happen upon a set that has turquoise and opera, just for the exercise, I would still suggest that you try to mix these into other colors, just for fun, just for exploration, and see what kind of stuff you can get, because it's a bit like the phthalo greens and the phthalo blues. They're a bit difficult to use pure. I would never use Opera Rose or Opera Pink pure unless it's part of the graphic statement of the painting, but they are colors that are really interesting in mixes, so the fun of them for me is to mix them in something else and see what happens, and see if that's something that I can use somewhere or not. You could try mixing like Opera Rose into super muted earth colors and see what happens. Maybe it's gonna be boring, maybe it's not gonna be interesting, maybe you're not gonna like it, but there's a chance you might like it, and there's a chance it might be interesting and something, you know, different that informs the way you can take on a painting in the future. So yeah. Why is Mr. E laughing? He probably read something funny or thought, no, I'm not gonna show you Mr. E. In the same way that I'm not gonna show you my face yet.
J'ai googlé funny boat names.
Funny what?
Boat names.
he said he googled funny boat names, and that's why he was almost crying laughing. Any good ones?
Non, c'est de la merde.
He said that there is no good one, that it's all crappy. Alright, noted. Oh, Vala showed the Opera Rose fading in under a year in her life. It faded in less than 2 months. Was it in full sun? Oh, okay, Noam, it's him. Cool. What brand of opera do I like? My favorite is Holbein's. They're all fairly similar. The only one that's a bit different is Sennelier's, because I think it has less of the fluorescent dye in it and more of the PR122 pigment. So it's a bit less neon if you compare it to the other opera. Like, it's not a color that I would, if you don't think you will like it, if it's not in your predilection, I wouldn't suggest like spending money on it. But if you do a paint trade or if you can try it from a friend, or any situation that gives you a chance to experiment with the paint, should be used for that, because it can be interesting. Like, any color you don't like, if you happen to have it at some point, like it's in a set and you get it, just try to have fun with it. You use it with your favorite color, you use all your least favorite colors together, mix it with something like a complementary, mix it with an adjacent color, just playing with it until you find something that you might like. I don't really have any colors that I don't like, and it's in great part thanks to experimenting with colors and testing stuff out and mixing, and you know, just saying like, oh, everybody has Otto is googling funny boat names. He showed me one. It was peer pressure, like peer, P-I-E-R, pressure. Ha 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 ha. It's very funny.
The Cud Father.
The Cud Father, yes. Otto has ecstasy. Marilyn Monroe. Oh, that's brilliant. She got the house.
The loser now, Dad.
Piece of shit. Seize the day. Wow. Wow. Gypsy. Oh, that's not, I don't think that's a word that can be used anymore, right? So someone has a boat with a very bad pun and a name that is not socially acceptable anymore. That's really interesting, Cyan, though I am not gonna try to pronounce the Finnish names. I don't want to butcher them. Seduction. Oh, come on. I missed what Anna was saying. Sorry. I was laughing at the boat names. Oh, bye Marlis. Thank you. Thanks for being there. Oh, more often than not. No. No, that's I mean, I much prefer that than many things, but then again, wow, the level of pun is what you'd expect. Unsinkable 2. Yep, that's a classic. The Unsinkable 2. Though it doesn't say what happened to the first one necessarily. They could have just sold it, or it got old. But it does infer some kind of problem with the name. Sorry. Alright, I'm gonna try to say it and you're gonna rate me on how bad I did. Väinämöinen. Väinämöinen. I'm basically just reading it in French. Eh. Tiny kitties! I kind of miss having really small cats around. They're a pain in the butt, but they're so cute. And they do like all this cute kitten stuff, like they try to sleep on your face at night because they're used to sleeping in cat pals and having a lot of warmth around. And they're like, one second they're super excited and 1 second they're just asleep. And they're small, so you can grab more than one. Hello, Pico! Guess who's back? Oh. Thanks, Cyan. I'm glad I'm not... I'm not too... lousy at Finnish. I think what is more difficult if I use my French brain to read Finnish is that the words are very long, and most French words are not very long. They're not like particularly short, but we don't have like such long names, so it's kind of difficult to understand and read at the same time. Switching drawings again. Gonna add another layer of gouache to the eyes to make it a bit more opaque and hide my big blunder at the beginning there. If I'm lucky enough, it might look a bit like shadow in the eyes, which is kind of better than my other options. Yeah, Pekko is a chatterbox. She does her thing all the time. She never opens her mouth for the sounds. She just comes in and does her thing. Carrie is saying that Maru did a video yesterday and he was talking with a toy in his mouth. I love Maru. He's such a big boy, but then you see him all wet and he's like this scrawny little cat under there. He just has all this fur on top. I see a lot of languages I can't read in the chat. Well, I can start... Whoa! Whoa, Cyan, what is that word? How many letters in there? Whoa! No, I'm not... I can't possibly keep up with that word. what does it mean? I think they gave Maru a bath at some point. Like the Maru's owner was giving a bath to Hannah and Maru, I think. And he was wet and he was like this scrawny little thing with a big fluffy face, because you shouldn't get a cat's face wet if you can. It's important that they don't end up with water in their ears, I think. Oh no! Oh, Temple, that's so sad. Temple is saying that their cat, Millie, was dumped at the shelter by her previous owners because she meowed so loud she woke the baby. Wah, toss away the baby, keep the cat. Hee. That's a joke, guys. Maybe not a very funny one, but still. I'm running out of this. Where did I put the Kusakabe paints? Oh, okay, Cyan is saying that the super long word was airplane, jet turbine, engine auxiliary, mechanic, non-commissioned officer student. Wow. Well, even in English that's quite long. But it's many words, it's not just one. Isn't German similar in its ability to end up with super long words? I don't speak German. I speak French and English. And I can understand a tiny bit of Spanish and maybe like a handful of words in Japanese. Cyan is saying that it is because in Finnish words are often connected if they are one thing. Huh. Evil Eve. I'm sorry, some jokes are just so easy to do just because you know they will provoke a reaction. Yeah, medical stuff is also pretty good at making for long words. Yeah, he GD is one of them. I'm glad that Otto understands me. They're saying that their last two cats that they adopted at 10 and 12 years old, their previous owner got rid of them because his girlfriend's dog didn't get on with them. Seriously, get rid of the girlfriend. think Beko is playing with her stuff. Okay, pet owners, are your pet's favorite toy something that you bought as a toy, or is it like some random thing that they picked up from the floor or a garbage or a recycle bin? Just for the sake of knowing. I hope I never end up in a situation where I have to choose between like something really important and cats. Like say if I were to become suddenly super allergic to cats, I really don't know what I would do. Like we can joke and say like just never mind the allergy, but I mean in some situations it's pretty difficult. Like a new life partner that is super allergic, and I mean from the standpoint of the person who has the cat, they love both the new person and the cats, but they cannot have both. So how do you even like make sense of the situation? Like the expected response is to get rid of the cats, but that's sort of like not super nice anyway. So yeah, I just hope I'm never in that situation. Otto, I know the answer to what? With the delay in the chat, it's kind of difficult to remember what people are commenting on. I'm sorry. Oh, Cyan, that's so cute. The paper bag is her bunny's favorite toy. Bun Bun is so cute. Maria's cat's favorite toys is hairbands. That can be dangerous though. Some cats will be dumb about them and eat them. Like my cats, they like to play with hairbands too, but they don't eat them. But I've seen situations where cats will eat the hairbands, and that doesn't process through fine. That's not good. Jacqueline's cat, Jack and Zeddy, like to play with whatever they can get into. That has to be really cute. That's chewing on the couch count. Lena says that their partner knows that the dog stays no matter what, and that he's okay with that. To the toy question, do I know what Jazz's favorite toy is? Oh, apparently, Ailurophilia is a person who likes cats. So we're definitely a bunch of ailurophiles. Like I've tried making toys, we bought toys for the cats, and their favorite things to play with is often a plastic strip, you know, from the bags that are completely sealed, and there's this Ziploc closure, but you sort of have to cut off the top part of the bag where it's sealed, so it's open, and then when you close it, you use the Ziploc thingy. Well, the strip that you cut off, that's their favorite toy at the moment. So we have one that's been there for like weeks, and they will play with it, they will chew on it. It's the best thing, really, and it cost us nothing. Okay, so Temple's Bunny and Cat. Bunny love paper bags. Tsubaku's cat. Strings, Catnip Mousy, and the little bulbs with catnip. Catnip is pretty nice when you're a cat. Oh yeah, 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 Otto. Yeah, all pets sort of really have a thing for found object. Okay, Sarah is saying what pens, I assume paints and brushes are good to use. Well, what do you have access to? Sam has to leave. Bye bye, Sam. Thanks for being there. I keep waving at the mic when people leave. So yeah, that's something you can do. If you don't know how to use your black paint, you can use it to line up drawings after when you're done. Like I am using the black paint from the Kusakabe set, which is not on the palette regularly, but I just splurt a small drop of it there. And when I need, on the rare occasions I need black or a super dark color or to ink a drawing, well, I can use it with a somewhat fine brush. This is a size 2, but it has a super nice point. And yeah, basically was able to line all this up with the black paint and the brush. What's the Dan? What's the condition called if you're crazy and addicted to cats? The human being? An artist, maybe? Maximus Ailerophilia. That's good. Alright, to follow up on what Sarah was saying. She works at Hobby Lobby, and yes, she meant paints. Well, what is I've never been to a Hobby Lobby. We don't have them here in my part of Canada, at least. So what is available to you there? I would try to avoid Cotman if you can. If you can't, try to get the tube paints instead of the pans, if possible. What does Hobby Lobby have? So this one is mostly done. I think what I would add is perhaps mix up some more of that super bright orange and make kind of a orangey glow on some of the stars I made, like the magic stars. And when it's all dry, I would add some shimmer paints on top to make the magic extra special, and because I really like shimmer paints. I think this one is mostly done as well. It's missing a little something, but I cannot figure out what at the moment. Perhaps I should use some brighter colors when I do the final version and really make the mouse a bit smaller, because I think that's quite a big mouse. So that's where I'm standing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. So that's gonna be the end of the stream for today, which was quite a long one. So yeah. It's been fun, and I feel a bit more less shook than I was at the start after having to give a bum bath to Peko. Catching up on chat. If you have any last minute questions. Here I could I don't. Yeah, you can, Sarah, you can check up on Facebook for my channel page. I think there's a link in perhaps the description, or I will put one after. But yeah, you can contact me there, send a message through Facebook, and yeah. What else? And yeah, if you give me a bit more info about the type of paints you have access to, I can perhaps give you a better recommendation. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that Lindsay the Frugal Crafter has reviews on almost everything, so that would be a good place to check for more info on the paints you might have available to you. Yeah, quickly, bum bath. There was a situation with my cat at the beginning of the stream, right before I started, where we had to give her a bum bath, because the animals, they don't often have clean bums. How can I say this? And she didn't like it, and it's a bit like shocking to strongly hold a cat that doesn't want to be there and then that is howling for their life. So yeah, it's a bit not traumatizing, but it's an impression that takes a bit more time to go. Hello! It's the bum bath kitten. Sally. Sally. Alright, so thank you everyone. Thank you everyone so much for being there. I really appreciate your company, and you're a great bunch, and I really like and love all of you, so thank you very much. There will be another Caturday livestream next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, but with the daylight savings it's all messed up right now, so I will post the video a bit before, and you can check out. And how much time is it for you? Yeah, and we'll see each other then maybe, and otherwise have a super nice weekend, and give your pets some loving. Bye bye.